pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll talk at once. What does it focus?
It freaks
It's
out.
like it's all over the place.
I did, when we were first using the owl in my former district. We used it at annual meeting. There were about 300 people in the room and it did shut down.
Oh,
They
really?
couldn't-
Wow.
We didn't know that that's not the right environment, but we learned.
I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any comments, questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We have a presentation from Dr. Siegel.
Yes, hello, everybody.
Guys, if you just give me a second, you're starting with the presentation, right?
Yes.
Because we have a presentation and a video.
Can you see over my head? Should I move?
No,
Okay, and we're sharing at home and you're ready to go.
All right, hello, everybody. I am Dr. Lyda Siegel. I'm here as Associate Director of Learning to present a Board of Education update as a mid-year reflection on the things that are going on in the learning department. And I've titled this Setting the Foundation, Strengthening Learning, because this year we are focusing on setting a lot of the foundations and the systems and structures that are needed to then build upon to improve our curriculum instruction assessment and other areas in the learning department. Next slide. So much of our work this year has been intentionally focused on building those systems, the processes and shared understandings that support high quality teaching and learning. And the strong systems that we are trying to create are focused on consistency and equity. And when systems are clear, teachers can then focus on the teaching and students experience more coherent, high quality learning across the district. So the first area I would like to discuss is our curriculum. Curriculum has been a main focus this year and it has been very intentional, with each step carefully planned and responsive to input, as well as it being foundational, meaning to establish the structures and the clarity needed for consistent and high quality learning now and into the future. So such things that we have worked on is continued implementation of the district's curriculum review cycle. So we have all the content areas on a review cycle, and we are cycling through those different content areas to look at what we currently have for their curriculum, what improvements we need to make, and so on. And we also had an annual revision of the handbook. The handbook is a place where you can find all of our processes, all of our documents, and our curriculum review cycle. And that will be updated yearly so that we can make sure that all of the cycles are up to date and all the documents are up to date and so on. We also conducted level setting sessions with content area teams. We met with content area representatives to identify needs and concerns, and we identified the focus areas needed for those content curriculum revision sessions. We reviewed an initial curriculum audit from ACES and we wait for the final audit. And when we see that audit, it will allow us to see across all of our curriculum documents what is needed as a district to focus on so that we can provide the professional learning and the revisions in those areas. We've also arranged curriculum work sessions by setting dates, times, and locations and sharing that information with consultants and to ensure successful and meaningful time together. As teachers come together, it's really important that the time they spend together is meaningful. And so I really focus on making sure that those sessions will be meaningful by planning and implementing the systems for those sessions. So in the second half, as this is a mid-year review, in the second half of the year, the focus will be on facilitating those curriculum revision sessions. We had one yesterday, for physical education, health, and business. And we got a lot accomplished looking at different themes throughout the curriculum documents, making sure that those themes had the correct standards underneath. And our next steps in physical education will be identifying priority standards for our thematic curriculum documentation. So that's just one example of something that took place yesterday in one of our curriculum revision sessions.
In all of them, like yesterday, there was probably 15 people in the room. They're all gonna be similar size or
It all depends on the department.
yeah.
So for example, the music department has 7. For social studies for K-5, we have approximately 10 coming, representation teachers as well as instructional coaches in that area. So it depends on the department size, but in general, it'll be around there.
Really had them working.
Yes. We got a lot accomplished. It was great. Yeah, it was really, really great. And then another thing that we're working on is publishing all of our scope and sequence documents to our website. So that will be done by July 1st. And that is a large undertaking because we have had several iterations of documentation, and to make it uniform, as well as to make sure that all the content areas have all that they need and the information they need to put on the website is a process that we're currently going through. And then continuing to address stakeholder needs and maintaining momentum across districts to continue our curriculum process. Next areas are professional learning. One of the main focus areas for professional learning is to establish relevance and alignment, making sure that our professional learning is relevant to those that are the audience for any sessions that occur, and that it is aligned to district priorities or to a growth area for either that individual person or for a department. We have so far facilitated 2 professional development days. One of those was in August that focused on where sessions focused on restorative practices. They're on math fluency and instructional technology. Our November day focused on collaborative curriculum development, EL implementation, assistive technology, and it also included cross-district collaboration for our world language department, which they found to be incredibly valuable as they met with 2 other districts' world language teams. The feedback from November was that 84% found the day valuable and 88% found the day relevant to their role, which is really important. So that's quite high for relevance to role for an entire district-wide professional development day. So I'm happy about that.
Is the strong staff feedback, meaning the feedback was strong, not feedback from strong?
Correct. Yes.
My brain is like really wrestling.
Maybe we should start using FW for the board or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, there was great feedback from staff regarding that. In addition to our professional learning days, we have further designed and aligned our flex professional learning option, which we have here for individual professional learning for teachers, that they can have their 12 hours of professional learning outside of their contractual hours, and that count as the last 2 days of our calendar. We also updated professional learning request process. So we have a clear process now. Before it was kind of like, who do I email? What do I do? So I made sure that there is a clear process for requesting professional development. And there's 3 different ways to do so. If it costs money, if it does not cost money, for flex, if you need a sub, all of that is laid out so that we know what to do if somebody wants to have a professional learning opportunity. PDEC, which is Professional Development and Evaluation Committee, which is an actual requirement by the state. We have met twice so far this year. We will meet another 2 times, one in March and one in May. What we are doing is focusing on professional learning quality and also on reviewing our evaluation system and making sure that it is kept up to date. In professional learning for the second half of the year, facilitating the February Professional Learning Day, which is coming up on the 13th. We're going to create clearer structures for professional learning goals and success indicators. So especially looking at the professional learning, making some ways to evaluate the effects of the professional learning. Using data and feedback to guide priorities. After every day, I've had the feedback and then I've implemented that in the next day, if possible. For example, our elementary grade level teams wanted to stay together. And so while that was not possible in the last one, I made sure it was possible in this upcoming one to be based on that feedback. And then I would like to expand cross-district collaboration. I'm part of a team that meets together from different districts, and we are discussing how to have professional learning for different content areas, especially because a lot of those districts are small. And so that cross collaboration would be really good.
On the evaluation, I'm not sure, did we have a consistent sort of goal in the goal setting meeting back in September? Or did each teacher have choices in different develop areas they wanted to do? I can't remember how we did
Each
it.
teacher had their own development area.
Yeah.
And that was then discussed with the evaluator and mutually agreed upon.
Yeah. And does any of this tie into curriculum development? Are there people involved in developing curriculum that had that as part of their goal, like complete this by that time and have this level of quality, et cetera? I don't know if that was part of, you're tying this in with curriculum development, is my understanding, right?
Part of it is, but that is more of a department one. Most of some of the elementary focused on in a math area or focused in EL, the literacy program. But as far as somebody's goal being to write curriculum,
Right, that's not part of it.
I don't think
Thank
that was that's more of a department goal.
Right.
What about special ed? You've talked a lot about, math, world languages, and anything. I didn't hear other than assistive technology, which is pretty small for special ed. I didn't hear anything about special ed with what they're doing for professional learning.
Every area has their own professional learning. For example, speech and language pathology, we're having someone come in from ACEs. They're doing something specific to speech and language.
Okay.
Special education teachers, they have something specific that is designed by our special education supervisor.
Okay.
Yes, those are some of the highlights, but everyone has something for them.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
because they were
focusing on.
obviously had
Yeah.
professional learning. I was just curious, like, what was happening with them, because you had touched around the other areas.
So that's why I'm focusing really on relevance. So those are some of the highlighted areas. And if you want further information, I can pull up exactly what each is doing.
Are there times when you set mutual goals among, say, the whole department, which might be good to get everybody, we always use the word, get everybody on the same page, et cetera? Does that ever happen, or is it purely agreed upon by the evaluator and the candidate?
Our professional learning is really the system is meant for a personal goal. There are some that do it together, like for example, grade 3 might do a goal together, and that's fine, and they can agree to do that. But there's nothing that we are setting for them. They get to see an area.
Sure.
If they want to do it with their grade level, they can.
Have you embraced multi-year goals, meaning let's not try to jam a whole bunch of stuff quickly, maybe over a period of 2 or 3 years, because sometimes we have lofty ambitions, and as we know, we're extraordinarily busy every single day, and then you say, oh, wait a minute, I got to do this now.
Yeah, so for the evaluation system, you can have a 1, 2, or 3-year goal. It is up to the teacher whether they want to do 1, 2, 3-year goal, but that is something that is on the list for evaluators to discuss with the educator to see if a multi-year goal is appropriate for what they would like to do. Yeah, I've had people do 1, 2, or 3-year goals.
I'm just gonna go back to the distinction you're talking about. So in the evaluation system, it's that chosen goal by the teacher, but then we have district staff development days.
Yeah.
And that's when we have a chance to move forward like a district or a building goal.
And so actually the next one is evaluation. So I'll just go quickly through this. The evaluation system focuses on clarity, and the things that we really focus this year are on clarity and consistency. Expectations and feedback practices were aligned with workshops and presentations. So at the beginning of the year, our evaluators went through and made sure to have some alignment discussions about how feedback is given and so on. So we can make sure to be on the same page with that. We continue to review systems through PDEC, as I previously discussed. And feedback for our evaluation system was very high at the end of last year. Our survey showed that it was overwhelmingly liked by our educators, especially compared to our previous system. Second half of the year, we're going to continue to refine the consistency. And then I'm also gathering the different areas of evaluation of goals that educators have selected, and to see the areas that they've selected to see if we need to develop any more professional learning in specific to those areas that they've selected. For assessment and data, we have focused on establishing the platform and using data intentionally. We've established a consistent district-wide assessment and data platform. It's called Link It. We've onboarded all staff and began data discussions. We've also uploaded a lot of our data. It does not automatically go in, so we have to securely make sure that they upload it. So that has been a large process at the beginning to make sure that all of that data is uploaded and to learn how to do that. In the second half of the year, we do have some Link It reps coming to the district to work with some staff. We're going to review implementation, and we're going to develop next steps for how best to use the program. We're going to focus on strengthening data-informed instructional decision-making through our PLC process. Expand use of the platform for assessments and housing assessments, and improving our documentation practices. All of our MTSS intervention, behavior, ML plans can all be housed in here, which along with all of our data for each student, which is nice because year to year that goes with the student, and it is not lost in any shuffle of Google Docs or other things that may get lost. So it all stays in one place.
So we'll merge all our testing data and kind of create a kind of a single report.
Correct. Especially for the student. The main focus for the Link It platform is really for educators to be able to look at a child and see their academic record, and see how they did, and then to inform next steps. There are definitely ways to look at a district-wide, but the thing I find the best about it is you click on a student and you can see all of their records, their academic record, behavior record, attendance records. You can really get a full picture of each student to give them what they need.
And also monitor teacher performance.
Monitor teacher performance?
Yeah, I mean, no.
No,
That's not its purpose.
no.
But it is a huge step forward to have this one stop, this one
Yeah.
place to have everything.
You're just singing my song, the fact that we're using data, like
Mhm.
data should always be considered, should never be the end all be all. But the fact that we're looking at data again is a beautiful thing.
Next part is instruction. The first part of the year focused on planning a coherent approach to observing instructional practices. There is a plan for informal visits that will start at the end of this month. Going through the classroom visits will be conducted to gather data in hopes of identifying instructional strengths and growth areas. And this can inform and guide our professional learning and any instructional supports that are needed throughout the district. These are short informal visits at first. It is not the complete walkthrough protocol. This will be a short snapshot at first, and then that can inform larger experiences for one.
Who does that?
For this first go around, I'm going, and then an instructional coach would be coming, so I can make sure to bounce my observations off that, and then from there we can expand.
And you're looking to like have other teachers Eventually, like not.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
So yes, the protocol of, having a classroom teacher, the principal and so on, that will come down. This is just for this first.
And
go
you're gonna be
around.
looking at metadata, not just, like, it's not designed to evaluate, it's designed to get a school.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes. And that's what I wrote out when I was writing a thing, is it's informal visits to gather overall. It is not
They're
individually
not
evaluative.
observations, they're visits, that's a good.
Visits, not individually evaluative at all, at all, because that, we have another evaluation
Right.
system for that. This is just to gather the data needed to make next steps for our instructional practices.
Yeah, I found a lot of faculty where I work at, they really like being given the opportunity to visit another teacher's classroom. Yes, it's challenging, no question, with logistics and finding substitutes for that sort of time, but it's been extraordinarily valuable, especially support for new teachers that, has somebody that really is very adept at what they're doing, and they get to spend an hour, perhaps a whole period in there, and then they suddenly start liking being a teacher again, or
Yeah.
want to do it more than they may have before.
Yeah.
That's
We
good.
have a couple of teachers now that are going to another district because they're doing a certain art program. And so they're super excited to go see it in action, so then they can bring it back here. So things like that, or even just next door, like you're talking about, next door to go see, is really important. Yeah, so that's cool. Our multilingual learner supports, so supporting our multilingual learners has been foundational work this year. It just came to our learning department at the beginning of the year, and we've been making sure that it is equitable access, and we want to build our tier 1 capacity, especially for language acquisition. So we have reviewed scheduling options to ensure each of our multilingual learners receive services from a certified ML teacher for several hours. We've reviewed registration practices and assessment practices to make sure that we are in compliance, and also that we are using best practices in those areas. We've partnered with Learn to strengthen our programming and get advice on how we can best move forward. And in the second half of the year, we plan on providing professional learning during one of our staff meetings for ML best practices, which is reinforcing our tier 1 strategies, especially around the area of language. And we're going to review our data practices and monitor for instructional impact in all areas for multilingual learners.
Linda, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'll always, but the one thing that I am proud of Region 13 for doing, and I know was part to lighten the load on the student services, but also conceptually, ML support belongs in curriculum. It belongs in tier 1. And there's a mindset issue with it being in student services. It's where it ends up in most districts that aren't big enough to have its own department. And it has a deleterious effect. So I am very proud of the fact that it's in tier 1, it's in curriculum now, because it's where it belongs. That's it. And you couldn't have picked a better partner.
Yeah.
Our next areas are instructional technology, where we need to review and define our use of instructional technology. We have focused on reviewing what we have and also planning for future use. We have 4 of our staff members that are participating in the ACES AI Consortium, working with ACES and other districts to make a plan to best implement AI into our school district. So far, they have created a statement on AI use that has gone out this year. They've also sent out a survey on AI use so that we can gather that information. And then we're hoping then in the second half of the year to start creating a plan for student programming for AI. We are also reviewing our software contracts for any possible changes that are needed. Some contracts have been ongoing for several years, and we want to make sure that we are actually utilizing them. So we have our usage reports and so on, and that we have what we need. We also have what we need in the area of instructional software, but we don't want to overlap too. So making sure that we don't have too much in a certain area. And we have implemented an improved software request process. So before it was kind of just an email software request, and now there's an actual process that you can use to request software. There's a whole student data privacy component and grading for instructional software that needs to happen. So that can be done through this new process.
The survey that went out, will we be able to get to see the results of that?
The AI survey for staff, to staff,
Yes.
I can
We
get
can do
it.
a summary.
You can
Oh,
do
yeah,
a summary,
summaries.
sure, yeah. It's, it was asked for the programs they're currently using, programs they're interested in using, how they, and so on. So sure, I can get a summary of that.
I'm interested in that information too.
Sure. I can get a summary for sure.
Seems to be a very hot topic among a lot of school,
Yeah.
student newspapers as well, what their perspective is on it. It's not all pretty, you know. Especially the high achievers, are like, well, it's no fair, because everyone can just do it now, with
Yeah.
pushing a button. Yeah.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute, it comes easy to me. Why,
Well, sure, this point from A to B.
now it comes easy to other people too.
So, looking ahead, for this, so this year, as I mentioned at the beginning, is focused on establishing those foundational systems and processes that will allow us to align curriculum instruction and assessment long-term. We need that foundation that we can build on. And then that will make us positioned to develop in the coming year curriculum and instruction mission and vision and plan, as well as being able to easily integrate our upcoming strategic plan and portrait of the graduate and use these systems to integrate those into the district. And I want to say that this is a team effort across the entire district. We have support from our superintendent, administrators, teachers, and support staff. So this progress shared tonight, it represents the collaboration and commitment across the entire district in all of these various areas. And then lastly, why this work matters. This work matters. It's behind the scenes, but it matters because it creates an environment where to create student learning, which is why we are here. So it represents the planning, collaboration, and systems to support that student learning behind the scenes. And always we want to center our student voice. And so as this was a mid-year check-in at the learning department, we also did a mid-year check-in with some students, and they are going to tell you some things that they have learned this year. And then they're going to tell you some things they're looking forward to learning for the second half of the year.
Oops. Bring this up. There we go.
Something I'm proud of that I have learned is about how the earth revolves around the sun. And I'm thinking that the sun revolves around us. I'm kind of feeling how a shooting star is not a star and is moving. I'm proud of knowing that I've finished multiple playlists this year so far. I'm proud of manage my study. I learned a better studying strategy. learned how to make this. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do some before art shapes. I want to learn how to be a doctor.
Nice.
My be a teacher. Only thing that I hope for the rest of the year is getting good scores on my tests. One thing that I hope for the rest of the year is to make more friendships. One thing that I hope for the rest of the year is just like don't confound with friends and like pay attention more.
I'm excited to learn how protein synthesis works.
Excited to learn more about the French Revolution.
I'm excited for the basketball season.
So those are students, 5 years apart, so kindergarten, fifth grade and 10th grade. And there are different perspectives on this year.
Thank you, Dr. Siegel.
Yeah, very-
Questions?
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it was great, and a mountain of work, a mountain of work. And, like the things that a lot of districts don't have a system for that software purchase. And like in we've run up against it, when people are buying things, you're like, you can't use that, you know? So the fact that you got all that done,
Or we already have something that does that. That's
yeah,
the-
right.
Yeah.
And a lot of districts spent the ESSER money on things like that and then just auto renew, right? They're not even thinking about, so the fact that there's a process for that is great. And you know how critical I've been in a lot of the presentations, and I am just pleased and proud of y'all, so.
And this platform is used for faculty as well as administrators. Some of them had not been that way. I mean, I'm going back to the data dashboard. That was a long time ago, but
Okay.
that was mostly for you, right? I believe. It was a while ago, maybe before your time. Okay, forget it.
I have a question and if it's not appropriate, it's fine. I'm interested to learn more about Linkit.
Mhm.
So if you could shoot me an email, if I can attend an onboarding or a PD session on it, I'm curious as to how it works and stuff. But again, if that's,
So we had a online onboarding
Yeah.
session,
yeah.
so I could send you
Oh,
the
you have a
training for
recording?
that.
Oh, that'd be
Mhm.
cool. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, it's next student achievement, we talked about it as well.
Yeah.
Sure. Mhm. I could do a little demo if you wanted.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's nice, this system, you're able to, I can't say anonymize,
Yep.
all the data
Yeah.
on there.
Say it
So, I know, anonymize, so, and you can anonymize it with different things. If you want to take off student names, or you can take off everything really, so that I can show you the system if you'd like.
Yeah, nice.
Without student names.
It's really encouraging to see the district getting back on track.
Yep.
And having a good solid direction.
100%.
Yep.
Les has been
It's been
amazing
a
work
while.
this year and really
It's been a
setting
while.
us up for a great future.
Thank you.
Nick wants it too, so I wonder if we just send the Linkit demo to the whole board.
Sure.
Everybody wants to watch it.
Mhm.
Thanks, Liza.
Anything else?
Thank you. That was a lot of work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have public comment. The public comment here or online.
If you're online, let me know if you'd like to have any time for public comment. Not seeing any.
If not, okay, can we move on to item number 5, approval of the Board of Education and Board of Selectmen meetings on December 10th. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
any comments on it?
Yeah, so this is the selectmen,
Yeah,
the joint. Yeah, I'd like to make a note that Middlefield's second selectman, Douglas O'Rourke, did arrive.
yes, right.
But it doesn't say he was here,
All
it
right.
just said present. So, I mean, it may have been late, but I'd like to note for the people of Middlefield that he was in attendance.
Okay. We amended, we include that. Any other comments? All in favor?
I,
Uh,
Opposed? Thank you. Next is the Board of Education regular meeting of December 10th. 2025, a motion to approve.
So-
Have a
I'll
second?
second. I'll second.
Any comments on that one?
Just a little bit, again, nothing critical, but it seems as though when you read through it, it doesn't really include any discussion or debate we had. It was pretty much just stating facts, and I don't know if that's a new format. But I remember at one point, like Christine astutely countered my displeasure with the comparing budgets with other districts, and you had your great response. But I would like to see that included, especially when, people are voting for us now, like more competitive than ever. We really need to have on record where people stand on certain issues. Again, that's a small issue, but anything larger, we need to know where people are voting. People need to have informed decisions. I would like to see some way, and it's not easy because I know we have to like transcribe all this. I don't know the solution to it, but other than just saying, oh, I'd like this included in the minutes. Again, I'm not so big on that, what I said and Christine said at the moment, but I just noticed it
I
looked
don't know, he
radically
seems
different
hung
this
up
time.
on it, I don't know.
Well, yeah, well, sure.
Just kidding, teasing me.
All right, we did verbatim transcript.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it needs to be progressive.
Somewhere between.
Yeah.
I did have a few things though too. I think I could not remember, and just if someone could double check this piece, where exactly the 4-minute break happened. I didn't think it was where it's referenced in the minutes, and then I thought it was like after, and then
It was between, the votes.
Between the two votes.
so between the two, okay.
Between the two. votes.
When Linda was nominated as vice chair with the votes.
And I cried.
I didn't oppose her being vice chair. I actually thought it was unanimous. So I don't want to speak for
Okay,
Maura or Steve, but maybe just go back and look at that. I know I didn't oppose you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So that piece I wrote is not correct. I mean, I couldn't remember. Hold on. There might have been like one other thing in here. Oh, underneath update on memorial project, it says abatement work is expected to begin the second week of January. I didn't think that was correct. I thought the work was the second week in February and the
Yeah.
bids were going out.
right.
That's
And I
right.
definitely think that needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Pretty sure.
We need to be able to make those changes.
Yeah.
No problem. We can amend.
With those changes, have a motion to approve? Oh, we did. All in favor? Moving on to item 6, superintendent's report.
Thanks, and it's a perfect segue from Dr. Siegel's presentation, just to do some update on the curriculum work. You heard a lot about what's going on. We have finalized the 2 positions in our learning department, and we have landed on the titles of Director of Teaching and Learning and Associate Director of Teaching and Learning. We went through looking at the alignment between those 2 positions. So this is what people have been referring to as the curriculum director. Curriculum isn't as all-encompassing as we need it to be. So we feel that these 2 titles are going to be the most appropriate. And our hope is to have that director position posted by the end of this month. Leadership team had a chance to review those job descriptions and make some just final tweaks. And then Mr. Bro, who is unfortunately not feeling well tonight, or else we know he would be here, is going to start setting up a timeline in the interview committees and start getting ready to go through that process so that we get the best applicant pool that we can.
I feel like there used to be members of the board as part of the interview committee for admin positions. Is that still accurate?
I think when he showed me so what he did is he showed me the outline for the hiring of the middle school principal last year. And so we're going to start with that. And I believe there was one board member who was on that committee. Yep. And then actually, Jamie just mentioned this, is that I'm interested in getting on board with the CAPS partnership with Miguel Cardona about multiple pathways in secondary. So hopefully you'll be hearing more about that from me. It is hard to believe, but we do have pre-K and K registration and 8th grade registration and course selection going on for the high school.
Yeah, the signs are all
I
over.
was gonna say, I saw the sign, I'm like, damn.
I know I shouldn't be shocked, but I'm always shocked, like, oh, are we actually registering for next year already? So that is in process.
I only got one letter in the mail. Had to copies.
Tonight, I'll be emailing you the strategic planning survey results, as the summary results. We did receive 256 responses for the survey. And in addition, I'm holding focus groups and I've had multiple. By the end of this month, I will have held 21 focus groups. So we are hearing a lot from a lot of different voices in the community, including parents and guardians, Chamber of Commerce business members, staff. And I'm very excited about my 2 student focus groups that are coming up at the end of the month. This month's restorative practices and core ethical values focus on our core ethical value of honesty. And for January, we're having an emphasis on goal setting and accountability. So each school is doing something to move forward the concept and practice of honesty, goal setting, and accountability. We have our owner's rep here from STV who will be giving that update. So I'll leave all of that to her. I've been working a lot with Kim on budget and walking through the first budget process, my first budget process in Region 13, and it's been a pleasure, especially because of the work that she and Mrs. Pop and Mrs. Torgerson do. Like, it's incredible what I'm starting with, looking at the budget. So they should be commended and thanked for all of that work. Policies we're going to go through later in the meeting. In terms of just general updates, I really do want to kind of complete these committees with more student and support staff voices. Those are still missing on committees. If you know any high school students or support staff, and if you can maybe give them a nudge to be on some of our committees, I would appreciate it. I would love to have those voices in there. And just as a reminder, there are a couple of extra meetings that are coming up right now. So we have the budget work session, which is on Saturday morning. I know Bob's going to talk more about that on January 24th. And we have the CABE training on January 28th. And everybody should be ready for cake because it's somebody's birthday that night, and we'll be having cake to make the training extra special. Mary Broderick and Jack Reynolds are going to be doing that, who did the search last year. So they'll be familiar faces coming back in to do that training. And just as a final note, one other project we've been working on is we've had an unusually high number of debt for technology damage. And this is when a Chromebook is like intentionally damaged. Most families will buy the insurance, and things are covered by the insurance. But last we started to look at this, we had about $12,000 of unpaid debt. And it's not just the district collecting money, like just to, collect money, but the technology department itself doesn't budget for parts and repairs and all those other pieces that they need to do the repairs. So the way that that's always worked is that the money that they get for the repairs is the money that actually pays for them to do that work. So we've had way too many families just saying, I'm just not paying, and we have multiple means for them to apply for a waiver if there's a hardship, and also for like a local scholarship fund to pay partially for everything. So there's a lot of ways to make sure that families can cover those costs if they are not able to right now. But mostly it's just about tightening up the process, having some 3-month deadlines that if you don't pay in these 3 months, like you may actually need to, if you don't fill out the scholarship or the waiver, you might need to go to collections at this point, because it's just $12,000 is, I think, the highest we've seen. Yeah.
So those are damages that are not covered by the insurance that they could have bought.
Yes, yeah, and intentional damage.
Part of me is always,
Like actual vandalism, yeah.
part of me wants to think that every classroom maybe just have the Chromebooks there, have the chargers, because inevitably there's 6 or 8 kids and out of 25 that, I don't have my Chromebook, I don't have my charger. That might be a way of managing it. Obviously, they wouldn't have them at home, but I'm guessing there's a lot of other devices at home that could do what they need to do. I don't know, that might be a way of helping the situation if that's.
I think they do have like the carts for the younger
Yeah.
kids. It's not until 6th grade that I think they start actually carrying it home.
With you.
I mean, you could put the fear of God in your children like I do, you know.
They don't have to buy insurance?
They don't have to.
No.
Like to me,
It's not mandatory.
I mean, to me, that's a policy
We
that
did
we should
discuss
discuss.
Yes. Do we have a breakdown of where most of them?
Let me get to middle school.
We can run that report because all of the technology tickets, you know, log everything, you know, where it happened, how many times, what, you know, what the situation was, discipline reports, all those kind of things.
Do we know like what percentage of devices students or parents are not buying insurance for?
Mm.
And would it make sense to self-insure those?
Mm.
Like instead of waiting for
Mm.
putting the responsibility on a parent to buy the insurance, if they do or don't, then we have a damage, like would it make more sense for us to just?
Mhm.
I
I
know
don't know
that's
the
an
answer
additional
to that,
cost.
to that, so maybe Kim, do you know about that?
I don't, I can look at
Okay.
it. We haven't
And
discussed.
if we're determined as a high user of that service, then it's gonna go up and up and up and every year.
Yeah.
Just like healthcare.
Yeah.
Is the process pretty easy with the insurance? I mean, like, don't wanna jinx myself. I don't know that, but I do know we take out the insurance, you know, and whatnot, just because heaven forbid, you know, something happens. Like, is the process pretty easy where you guys get reimbursed fairly quickly? Like with it?
I haven't heard otherwise,
Okay.
Christine, I really don't know, I apologize.
I just want to make sure that process is
Yeah.
also
I think I would have.
working smoothly. That's true. Yeah, no news is good news.
Big Ken.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, thank you. That's my report.
Mine is short. The retreat on, January 24th. It will be here at the library. We'll be covering basically two issues, the budget issues. Not the budget numbers, but the issues that are affecting the budget, like insurance and other areas that are need and capital improvements. In the second part, we'll talk about long-term capital. We've talked about building a 5-year capital budget. It'll mostly be about Strong and Coggins-Shock. We have major needs coming up in both of those schools, in the roofs and other places. So we'll talk about putting that together. I know Eric has a full spreadsheet on everything that's life expectancy and whether it should go. So we were looking at both of those things, get us ready for dealing with the budget as it comes forward. We have a joint Board of Ed and Building Committee meeting on the 21st, next week. That's to approve the construction plans for phase 3. And then it goes to the state on the following day to get state approval. So that will be our major vote to accept the plans for construction. So we need, well, 3 of you are already on the building committee. We need, you know, at least 2 more. I'll be
Right, Zoom
Is that a Zoom?
It can be a Zoom, but I don't think it is right now.
It's not right now, it'll be in person, but
Yeah, we'll make arrangements.
So we need 6, right? So 3
Yeah,
more, right?
At what time? 6?
I think it's, I think
because there's policy before it.
there's a 4 o'clock policy meeting before that.
I'll probably have to zoom in, but I'll let.
Yeah, let us know. The training with Kate for Mary and Jack. They were involved in the search, and all of us met them and they really are more focused on the functioning of boards. And that'll be, you know, just some help for what they have viewed over their lifespan. I am about a day away from finishing up the newsletter that we agreed that we would do twice a year. So that should be probably going to the printers next week. I hope should have all the pieces ready. There's a lot from each of school has provided information on what they're doing, so it'd be a lot more stuff that the people who are not parents never see. you know, stuff that's going on in the classroom and stuff that's going on with the student clubs. Sports and music is also put in there, plus a story about the new board members and a story about committees and assignments. So a schedule of a bunch of events that are coming up, and so those will be in it. It's pretty similar, but hopefully it'll be done. We decided last year we couldn't afford to mail out what, 3,000.
It would have been $8,000 to $10,000 to
So
do that.
we sent out a postcard and says, and here's the QR code to get into it. It's on the website, and we put a few hundred out at the community centers and libraries so that people could just pick them up and want a paper copy. So that's what we'll do. It'll be a lot cheaper. We also have a proposal to donate a baby grand piano from Bruce Schmatlock to the music department. We're getting a estimated value of that, and we'll be voting on that next month, once we get a kind of a estimated value of it and the cost of moving it. But our pianos are really in poor shape at the music department, and this Tim has evaluated this and it says it's in excellent shape. So hopefully that will be a good.
In my personal experience, I highly recommend piano movers.
Yeah.
Specialize in piano movers.
Yeah, no,
We have some damage.
I had one that turned
felt.
into kindling on the road.
Right,
Yeah.
I finally had a player grand piano, and moving that was very difficult
yeah.
with movers.
Yeah.
We also all got a email from Claudia White from Durham Youth Family Services. Should look at, it's an interesting document and the attachment in there about what is really facing our youth from 7 to 12. And there's a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts in there about things that, should affect us in our actions at the board and our policies. So it's worth watching. It's somewhat disturbing, some parts of it. I'm glad that my children are in their 50s, and but I have grandchildren that are going through that process now. So, but please take a look at it. I think it's worth looking at. And I think that's about it. And we'll talk a little bit more about Memorial right after our discussion. Kim, are you up next?
If I can ask,
Yeah.
did Bobby and Martina reach out to you about content for the spring Middlefield newsletter that we put out? And we do a full color magazine, basically.
I got the dates from Judy and she put me on their calendar update. So
Okay,
like
sure.
as soon as the next content's due, I'll get a notice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Bob, I just had a quick question on the retreat. You said it's here and that's in the morning, right?
8 o'clock, yeah.
Okay. Is it till a set time or just till we're done with?
It won't be more than 3 hours.
Okay.
Depends on how much people want to talk, but
We can set it.
I'll bring a muzzle.
Bring your hammer, bring the hammer.
normally it's, I would think 2 hours, 2.5 hours at the most.
Mhm.
Is that open to the public or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
There are very few have come at 8 o'clock. Most we try to do it so it's. We can't really have a meeting this time. Yes. All right, Kim.
Okay, we finished out December at 44% of our budget has been expended. We've encumbered 96% of it, and we've received 57% of our revenue. We do have accounts trending over budget already through the encumbrance process. We know what it's going to cost us. and with that, we do have a number of accounts that are under expended, which can offset that, and I keep a very close eye on that. As long as the bottom line stays within the legal budgeted amount, and I keep an eye on that very, very closely. With that said, what I do every year is by March 1st, I ask all the certified staff members, administrators, everyone to please encumber whatever they need for the rest of the year. So, the thinking is by March 1st, I would hope school ends in June. That's not too early to be able to know what you'll need for the second half. That helps me know where we are with the budget. That helps me know if we have any surplus, or, if any other further actions need to be made. So, obviously there are unforeseen items, there are emergencies. I'm not asking them to commit to certain things, just say, hey, I'm gonna need some, seeds for my next class, in the spring. Great, encumber it and you're good to go. And so for budget, 2026, 2027 budgets moving along on schedule. We are having the administrator meetings. Sydney and I are meeting with each administrator. I've already gone line by line through the budget, and then Sydney's looking at my comments and attending the meetings and asking questions. So that process has been going very smooth as well. And the last thing I have to say is we had our indoor air quality inspections done. We're required by state statute to have that done each year. We've completed them and we have them posted on the individual school websites as well as the district website. That's required by the state. And we're required to publicly announce that to so if any parent wants to look at it.
So are we okay?
We are okay. We did a lot of during COVID, like this MERV things. So we did a lot of work during that time. So we are, but
Kim, for the current school year, you mentioned that there's a couple line items that are going to be, trending over budget. What's like the top 3?
so, well, one is salaries, but we knew that because we
the
only.
vacancy factor.
Yep, vacancy factor, that's expected. The other 2 I have is outplacement tuition. And outplacement transportation and legal are tied for 3rd. So those are what's running over right now, but we still have under expended funds to absorb that. So we're not, in any dire situation, but that's just what's running over right now.
And I would assume that like with the increase in outplacements, that's directly correlated to outplacement transportation. It's like.
Correct. And as students come back to the district, that offsets. So it's kind of moving every month.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, Commission? We'll have more probably next Saturday.
Yes.
All right, now for memorials update.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Dr. Leggett, board members. It's great to be here again.
Say your name again.
Angela Cahill with STV. So
Yeah.
we're serving as owners project managers for the Memorial School project. Thank you. It's been a busy month since our last report. Although, physically you're not seeing anything happen. There's just been a lot accomplished over the last month. We went out to the state for phase 2, which is demolition and hazmat within the existing building, and that was approved. The PCR test went really well with the state grants group, and they issued the approval to bid right away, which was a good sign. Means the documents and the team was all in order. So that's currently out to bid. And we're expecting the bids back shortly. So that'll be a big chunk of the budget, and that'll give us another real, real life idea of where we stand with the budget rather than just estimates. As Mr. Moore mentioned, there's a major meeting next Wednesday, joint meeting to approve for that next phase 3. So phase 3 is your biggest phase. It's your renovation and additions to the building. So the other thing that happened since the last meeting was the architects delivered 100% documents for review. So, those aren't delivered right before the PCR. Those have gone to the code reviewers. They're with the building committee. They're in discussion to make sure they're ready for the state. The code reviewers did review those documents and issued fairly typical comments. that they have, just kind of nitpicky, you know, did you have the right code reference here and there and on the general notes and things like that, nothing of concern. The architects have already responded to the third-party code reviewers and that item will be closed out and ready for the PCR on the 22nd. So also in the meantime, since those documents were delivered, the cost estimators have been working on that final cost estimate. So the drafts of both the independent cost estimate and O&G's construction management estimates were delivered to us today. Those are just drafts, so they're not for release yet. So we're looking through those, and there's a reconciliation meeting set up. So the reconciliation meeting is where we take the two estimates and look at them together. What are the differences? Why are there differences? Talk them through, and then we come to agreement on, you know, really what the best cost estimate can be, given those two firms' opinions of cost. So that'll all happen before next Wednesday, so that at the meeting next Wednesday, the joint committee can formally approve both the cost estimates and the documents for the PCR test on the 22nd. Any questions on those specific pieces right now? No? Wow, you're understanding the process. That's good. That's great. So schedule update. We're still working with the construction manager to try to understand when the end date can be. We've pushed them to add some more detail to their schedule so we can talk through it a little more thoroughly. They just kind of have a general end date. But now that they have the 100% documents, hopefully they can put that detail together and we can get a better understanding of when the actual completion date can be. No specific changes really to report. I think at the last meeting that I was here in person was really the roof was the big change. There's some minor value engineering discussions that have happened over the last month or so, you know, small things that we can put in as alternates, nice to have some, move forward with those in the bid, but no major changes, nothing that affects, you know, curriculum. So, right. Any comments on that? No questions?
I comment, can you just explain what goes on in hazmat and demolition? What is going on in those parts when we go out, when we get the bid?
Right.
When we accept the bid?
Yeah, so hazmat and demolition is really just preparing that building, the existing building, to receive the new construction adjacent to it and the renovations that are going to happen within. And sometimes to fast track the process and get ahead of the schedule, you'll release that as a separate bid package because it really is kind of just a couple of subcontractors that'll bid on that and come in and do that. So, you know, there's been hazardous material testing, as is typical of every school project on the existing building to determine where those materials are. Since we're not doing a full-scale demolition of the entire building where you could just kind of call it hazmat and throw it away, you know, you really need to do your diligence and take out any hazardous materials piece by piece, so that you can then come back and renovate the building as new, as if there's no hazardous materials in there. Demolition, there is selected demolition in there, again, to receive the existing building or the new building additions that would tie into it, or maybe there's walls being moved for different programmatic efforts. So there's a lot of little pieces of demolition that'll happen within the building.
And the hazardous materials are things like asbestos tile that's been there for
Correct.
50 years or 70 years.
It's mostly asbestos that we're worried about. You know, there's sometimes you'll find some random lead as well, but that's basically where it is.
And PCBs and the clocking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Used to be there. Right?
Yeah.
So all those will be gone. So we'll have a nice modern school with
Yes.
no hazards in it.
Yes, exactly. And going through the state process, again, they reviewed and approved those demolition and hazmat documents, and, you know, they're very careful and they're putting a lot of money into this as well, state. So that's all been approved by them.
Right.
Yeah. I think there was also a question about borings that were taken recently. Yeah, so borings were taken in I believe the tennis court area. There was some concern, I think, by the town for some soil reports that wanted to be taken. So borings typically come out and just, you know, test the soils. Maybe it's a capacity issue. Sometimes it's a structural capacity issue. Sometimes it's a drainage issue. So that's currently being worked on, and I'm not sure. I think there were some minor changes to what the scope was going to be based on the results.
There were a number of drainage issues that we were concerned with. You know what, we've kept the school open till now. I know that when we start construction, there's a fence. Will that be, do you know if that's in with, as phase 2 or not?
No, I believe in phase 3 is where where ONG is showing the complete fence enclosure.
Yeah.
They're probably showing quite a bit of site logistics with the demo and hazmat, and then the balance of those logistics would be with phase 3. There's a lot of ongoing dialogue right now, through email about the pickleball courts, and, the community will be able to use them, I think, up until May.
Yeah,
And then we need to be safe and really rope everything off.
I just want to make sure there aren't any issues with traffic and trucks and
Right.
demolition. And stuff.
Yeah, and they're good. So the construction manager is always in contact with your local first responders, your building official, fire marshal, your maintenance crew, everything like that. And there's always adjustments that, might need to happen. So, especially as they're moving around the building. So it's a constant conversation, good community conversation.
Would it be any potential liability issue to still have people access the property during demo?
Demos mostly inside the
It's
building.
mostly inside the building. I guess it depends what, exactly where that's happening,
Wasn't
but
there like a lot with the brick? So,
The
I
brick
thought,
around the windows was,
correct.
okay.
Yeah. I don't think we're having the public at anywhere near the,
Well, I just was
Perimeter
really, someone's
building.
driving through, we're just like, people walk their dogs through. I just want to make sure, like, of course, if we can keep it open, we can keep it open, but I just, on the flip side, just,
yeah,
right.
I
It
didn't
will-
know if there would be any
there will have to
liability.
be some security fairly soon.
Yeah,
They also typically put cameras up, a lot of signage and, yeah. It's best for the public to stay away from a construction
yeah,
project.
yeah.
Yes. In regards to the windows, I think there was a question there, all the windows are gonna be replaced, so as those come out and as hazmat is remediated, some of the brickwork around the windows will come out and, you might look at the drawings and say, well, that's a lot of brickwork to come out, but you're not gonna ask a mason to, sort of piecemeal, take one brick out and put it back, so sometimes it's easier to just, take a swath of masonry out and then have them come back and rebuild, so the design team has found what they feel is the most efficient way in working with the construction manager to have a mason come in and redo some of the brick that's gonna be disturbed.
Will the tennis courts still be open during the time that this gets started at the school?
I don't know, I don't believe so. I don't,
So that is the pickleball,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the pickleball,
Yeah, so I
so
was just
through May,
May,
after May, they will not be able to use them.
After, in May?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my question of like, it sounded
Yeah.
like they would still be open during demo, and is that
Right.
open?
demo will just be there's kind of a small overlap between demo and phase 2 and phase 3. It's not a huge overlap, so.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good to see
Thank
you
you.
again.
See you, next week.
Yes.
Item 10 is, the board communication. Really, the only one I got was from Claudia White, which I already talked about, the from Youth and Family Services. And we have a letter from Ed Remillard on the tennis course. We'll be talking about those in our meetings with the building committee and probably on next Saturday. We have been repairing them fairly regularly in the building committee has spent a lot of time talking about this. And trying to deal with the best solution.
Those are the tennis courts at the high school.
Yes. All right, new business discussion public vote on proposed 2026-27 district calendar.
So this is the revision that you have in your packet after the discussion we had last time, which just made all of your changes.
Everybody else set with that? The motion to approve,
So moved.
in a second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
John.
Next, I will.
Next, got it.
Who, I'm sorry, I know it was Nick second. Who did the motion?
Yeah, me, you.
Okay.
Next item is to vote to accept the Merwin funds. Merwin, for those who don't know, there's a former president, Charles Merwin, who endowed a fund, which is substantial. And they provide funding for the school. He was a member of the first Coggins School, which is what it was called before it was called Durham. And so and they've been providing funding for lots of projects over many years. And they've made grants. This is the third grant this year. It's to special ed course under Christy Ullman for called Fudge something. It's
I forget the exact title.
I forget the exact title, but it's special ed folks making a business out of selling fudge. And this is to help them buy the equipment to make it better. So it's $1,000, and so we have them vote to accept $1,000. So the motion to accept the $1,000 grant.
So moved, Monastery.
All right, have a second.
I'll second.
Any other
I was gonna
comments?
do something else.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next is a vote to approve the Coggins Regional High School field trip to Atlanta.
So this is, from my understanding, the trip that they take every year through DECA, because
Oh.
there's a national competition and experience for them. So this year it's being hosted in Atlanta.
Let's just remember the second vote, go, I think there's two teachers, one teacher and a chaperone. Any other questions about it? They always do really well down there. We usually come back with some prizes, so. All the motion to accept it,
So moved.
Second.
you guys are doing great.
You were working
Any
it.
other comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Vote to approve an additional day for the Coggins Regional High School field trip to Spain and France. This is in 2027. They had a proposal to add one.
Yeah, so this was the one you approved at the last meeting, and after that went through, the travel agent said that for an additional $200, they could add a day and go to Provence on top of it. So the new itinerary is what you have in your packet, but it doesn't have a huge financial impact compared to the whole cost, and they get the opportunity to do Provence, and they also don't miss any other additional school time.
All in favor? I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's happening so fast.
Yeah.
People, participants are aware of the additional cost, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is the creation of a subcommittee for naming of facilities. We have a very substantial policy on how to name facilities. And it's in our policy 3281. It requires basically a person from a board member from Middlefield and one from Durham, and then some community representation, which we need to solicit. I've asked Christine and Jamie to coordinate that, co-chair that, so we could have our Middlefield and Durham representatives. And we've already collected quite a bit of data, and Sydney's I don't know,
The
this
survey.
is like 100 or so options.
You've got a lot of suggestions to start with. That's what I can tell you.
Just be aware of the policy. If it's you're naming after a person, they have to be passed for 5 years. The policy kind of tries to recognize the region and the importance of the region, like Coggins and stuff like that. So think about that as you bring it, and then if you can gather up a couple of community representatives that you would be aware, just bring them and we'll approve them as we go. And I think the issue with the timing is that it needs to be in our final construction plan. So I would think if we're looking at maybe end of April would be
So not really in the final construction plans, but it needs, I can tell you the big push right now is
Colors and stuff.
the library, right? So the library has two school libraries that they need to consolidate and re-barcode and stamp all of our books to go into one. So,
Yeah.
so that's gonna be I mean, there are a lot of other things with the name, but that's really the big one in terms of making the move, the most successful and
Is it-
smooth.
You think April's early enough?
Yeah, I think April's good.
We also have to, have a subcommittee of your committee to figure out how to get a mascot.
Yeah.
And that
Name
probably,
and
ought to-
mascot go together.
yeah, we ought to probably get some principals involved or somebody from each of the school, because we have 3 current mascots. And whether or not students probably ought to
Together.
talk about it a bit. Whether or not they should have any mascot.
So how many people are trying to cap the subcommittee at?
I think that's up to what you think. You know, you don't wanna,
No, you don't go too big, but I feel like there might be, some
Yeah.
good amount of interest to do it. And I also think I wanted to ask, I think the admins, from the building should,
Yeah, I
every
agree.
school should also be a part of it. So right there, it's then you're at 5, so
well, if
You know, if I-
you 2 can get together and kind of think that out.
yeah,
So the policy just says community representation, so
Okay.
I think it's gonna be up to you to develop
okay,
the representation that you think, is
Okay.
gonna be sufficient.
okay,
And I wouldn't include the students that have maybe gone through there.
yeah, I
Maybe.
know, that's
7th grade, 8th graders or
Mhm.
something like that who have connection to the school. But, you have a couple months. I would think the committee of, more than 10 would be not workable.
yeah, max 10.
Yeah. But somewhere in that range, so
Mhm.
just bring the names back and we'll vote them, put them on the committee.
Okay.
So if you can solicit some funds and neighbors. So, we have to, I'm not sure we have to vote on this, or I can just, why don't we just vote to establish the committee
Mhm.
and with, Chris and Jamie as co-chairs.
You do, technically you do need to vote,
Yeah.
2/3 vote from the board to just get the committee going.
Okay,
So moved.
Seconded.
all in favor of establishing the naming committee?
I.
We have well over 2/3, so we're past.
Our transcriptionist is gonna love this.
Yeah.
meeting.
It's just cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste.
Well, at least it's consistent.
That's right.
All right, now on to the policy review. The first read on, the fundraising. Chris, do you want to talk about that? There's 2 things,
Yeah.
the policy we have to move to a second read, but the regulations we can adopt tonight.
Yeah, so, we did some work on policy 5325, and basically the big piece is that this will allow for limited, regulated peer-to-peer fundraising. So still can't do a GoFundMe, sort of thing, but this will allow some of that. And it will also, I think there was, the other big concern was parents, posting about fundraising, and this would also allow them to do that at their discretion, this revised.
The actual policy language is very short. It's just one additional paragraph saying all fundraisers shall adhere to non-discrimination. The opportunity to raise funds must be accessible by all, at all times. Whole group and whole class goals will be emphasized over individual student amounts raised. So that is the policy. We have to vote on that. And the regulations we can just accept. They're done by superintendent, and we seem to have good support at the meeting on those regulations.
And I think the feedback has been good too, from the people that I've
Yeah.
spoken to. I think people seem to be pleased.
And I have a number of people asking for these regs so they can start their fundraising.
So we've got a readathon coming up.
Huh?
We've got a readathon coming up.
Yeah, and hundred graduations coming in, and a few other things. So anyway, you have a motion to move, that we don't need a motion, we're just gonna move the policy change to the second read for next month. But on the regulations, have a motion to accept the regulations.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any other comments? All in favor?
I,
Okay.
Thank you. The state, it also includes the form for applying for the,
It doesn't include the form.
yeah,
The forms are separate, but what Kim and I have been working on and Kim did an amazing job with is that we made the form basically so that as you go through the form, you know that you're not doing anything that isn't approved,
okay,
right? So the form has become kind of an approval checklist.
great.
So it should help guide everybody through the process. And there's also two forms that Kim put together, one for new fundraisers and a short form for recurring fundraisers. So, you know, if it's the same readathon every year, they have a one pager instead of the long initial one.
Thank you. And the second reason for possible vote, the graduation requirements policy 5127. There's a correction we had to make in that. It was a minor correction, but it had some,
Yeah, it's a minor correction. There was this error, just so you know where it came from, is that it was just leftover language from a version from like 2 or 3 policies ago that just was still stuck in the document. So basically it means that, it's really PE that changes. So we have that it was, an additional credit in PE. So right now it's going to 0.25 credits per year of physical education and 0.25 credits per year of health education. And then the 0.5 of a credit will be awarded for participation in an athletic team for 1 season. And no students may apply more than 2 credits. So basically it was just a leftover. The way that it read originally, I'm trying to look at the class output. Is there additional whole credit in PE? And so now it's 1 full credit. So that was just our fault, but it was still stuck in there.
But I just have a question. If you look on page 2, the additional requirements looks like the original and it's not crossed off. And then you have it rewritten again on page 3 with the cross offs and the corrections. So it's almost like it's in there twice.
I'm trying to see where you are. Oh, no, I'm trying to-
Bottom of page 2, additional requirements is the whole thing, the old one, but it's not crossed off. But then when you go to page 3, it says additional requirements, and then you have the changes.
oh, it's still, it's
So it's
still in
kind
there
of
twice.
duplicated.
It's still in
Yeah,
there twice.
it's in there
Okay, we'll
twice.
take one out.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Can I also ask it, can this be, or how should this be read, that kids can skip PE sophomore year and then take a half credit junior year? Like, is that possible? I think
No,
it can be.
every year
interpreted
they have to do a PE and a health.
that- Okay.
Yeah.
So they can't,
They can't. skip
all
that.
senior year.
Right. Mhm.
The only reason why I am thinking about that is, and I'm sure it doesn't happen often, that we get newcomers, right? When we get newcomers, to have them take things like PE full year
Right,
lightens the academic load for them while they get
right.
accustomed to the country, the community, and the school.
Yeah.
But I think that the way it's written, it could be interpreted, like, I think perhaps the intention is every year,
Mhm.
but it may have, for extenuating circumstancing, allow us, you know what I'm saying, allow a kid to double up.
Right. Liza, do you have any comments on that?
Yes, so we have, what we're currently have right now is, a quarter PE, a quarter health per grade level. So we're actually working on aligning that. So there's a PE 9 curriculum, a PE 10 curriculum, and so on. So that quarter will be, so we also do have electives though. So there are elective opportunities that are available to students to take in PE in addition to their
Okay, cool.
PE 9
Got
quarter, PE 10 quarter, and so on. That's my understanding as of right now.
Thanks.
All right, vote to accept the change.
So moved.
I'll second.
Too slow.
Any comments? All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
The next is school volunteers, student interns and other non-employees. It's one that we edited, a shipment that was read last month. Any other comments on moving this forward?
Yeah, I think it's a great change. Yeah.
We're just gonna adopt the policy and then we can accept the regulations as well. So I have a motion to accept the policy as edited.
So move.
Second.
Oh, yeah, now you got. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then to accept the regulations, there's a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any other comments on the regs? Thank you. So those are our changes.
Oh, I think we have to say, do we have to say
Huh?
all in favor for the regs?
Yeah, all in favor? Sorry.
Aye.
Oh, aye.
All right, committee reports. Building committee, joint meeting on December 8th. That was a quick committee just to approve the phase 2 bid documents, phase 2 approval to go to the state. And also the bus as well, those 2 votes. The next one is policy committee of December 17th. Yes.
Really just focus on the amazing policy that we just voted on, so,
Report can be short.
yeah. No peer review. That's pretty much it, yeah.
Thank you.
Best update ever.
And
Thank you for
finally,
stepping up to be the chair.
Yeah, thank you.
and on the building committee, December 17th, Mark.
I'll probably also be quick. I think we talked about a lot of what we did
Yes.
in the meeting already. But just to go back over, we had an update on phase 2. The state has approved it moving forward. So those will be going up a bit.
They're out.
They are out. We discussed some EV electrical vehicle charging stations at Memorial based on their planning and zoning. Talked about a few different options on that. We talked about the testing with the coring and the boring we discussed earlier. There was a closeout of phase 1. There was 3 items to approve, all of which came in under budget, which was nice to see. We approved some invoices. We reviewed the timeline for phase 2. Talked about the benefit of having the building open. I think we talked about a little bit tonight. That was it really for the memorial project. And then we had a fairly decent discussion about the field house and its current uses, potential long-term uses. And we talked about a trainer's area, some dedicated team rooms, storage, and possibly a concession area. I think we came to any consensus, but those will be ongoing with the building committee.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Backpedaling on the building committee, it was some discussion on the validity of some of the trees on the memorial property that were determined to be the hindrance and not necessary or not safe, actually.
Well, there's a courtyard that doesn't, now it's just open, end up being a courtyard, and we're trying to determine whether the tree had any significance in the arbor. Just so that it could come down, so we won't have the maintenance issue of a tree in the middle of the courtyard. So, all right, thank you, Mark. Next item is public comment.
Howdy, old timers. I'm used to a microphone.
No.
Here we go. Game update.
Just talk.
Game
They
update.
were up by 5.5. They were down 14-4 and then they were in 19-14 when we walked away.
Hello there, Nick Pyle from the Benchwarmers. I'm from Middlefield. I'm Vice President of the Benchwarmers. Henry's President. Doc Lima is our longtime treasurer. Here to present the banner ad revenue report, which we do every January. This year, banner advertising brought in about $33,000. And we spent on student athletes about $39,000. The largest line item is $16,500 for scholarships. I have a detailed list, which I will email to Kim and Sydney and Bob tomorrow. You guys can distribute it as you see fit. The 39,000 that we had spent, does not include the 15,000 towards capital improvement project that we talked about previously. And there's also about $10,000 in the queue of various stages of approval that haven't made it to, that didn't close out in 2025. So, like I said, I will email a formal report to you folks tomorrow, so you have it and you can pass it along. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Henry or Doc, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Always looking for new projects.
We're forever grateful for the benchwarmers.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's our basketball program before I walk away. I know you've two seen it. I do it. Oh, yeah, I know.
It's amazing. It's really well done.
You'll see some of the advertisers in there also.
Yeah, it's not a big money revenue. It's more
Actually, this is a loss leader for us.
Yeah.
We actually
We
lose
do
money on
as-
doing this.
as a thing for school.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's great.
It's really well done. It's always well done, but it's really very nice.
We've been doing that since 1966, that program, at some variation.
That's what you were playing.
Yeah, right.
I have to say, I really loved having it with me at the game and looking at the girls, like at the Pink Out game last week. And it was great to just read a little bit about them.
Correct.
It was really wonderful. It is well done.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yeah,
again.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Gary.
Any other public comment? Online?
Anybody online? We have 3 people online, if anybody has a public comment. Seeing none.
We have none. We have a motion to adjourn. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That motion to adjourn is always unanimous.
Yeah. I love that the pet band is in here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they're scheduled. They put it here last week.